Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to the final video of the month of love and heartbreak. For this one, we are looking at the top 15 saddest moments in anime for me. Okay, saddest moments I think should go pretty much without saying. They're sad moments. Now, because of some of the similarities of the last countdowns, some of the entries are either going to be altered or won't appear at all. Like, Nagisa's death won't appear at all, nor will Kenshin's goodbye. And there will be a few others that are either altered a little bit or outright changed, even if they're from the same show. So, no two entry will be exactly the same from them. Although there will be one or two that will be related to the scenes. If you've watched both countdowns after this one's been made, you'll know which ones I mean. Anyways, I don't think I should delay any further. Let's just begin. Number 15. The end of Cowboy Bebop. Now, this is actually a really depressing moment because previous to this, we had Julia, Spike's on and off again girlfriend, die. Ed leave the Bebop. Faye being last seen sobbing due to Spike leaving. Jet, we're not sure about at the time, but he was with the First Nations person at the very end. And we had Spike and Vicious's final duel. Now, the end result of that I won't spoil, but I will say it does lead up to a very depressing moment because we don't know if the person... Oh, I might as well spoil it. Vicious and him and Spike fight. It looks like Spike wins, but it looks as though Spike isn't going to last much longer, or at all. Or, if you want the long and short of it, there is only one word that sums up the entire last bit. Bang. And if you are a Cowboy Bebop fan, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you've seen Cowboy Bebop, even if you haven't, you might know what it is. And then the end credits roll. And that is why, and the uncertainty of Spike's ultimate fate is why it is at number 15. Number 14. Yukiko's grief from 11 Eyes. Okay, I bet some of you are probably like, wait, shouldn't have this been in the last countdown? Well, let's just put it this way, I saved it for this one. Because I think it's worse as a sad moment than it is a romantic sad moment. Yukiko has just killed Takahisa. Trust me, she feels horrible about this. Especially since she got a love epiphany after she killed him. That's harsh. The tears in her eyes, and soon after when the Red Knight reappears, she goes after Superba for revenge for helping to lose her love, smashes her glasses to get rid of the cute personality she had so that she can just take bloody revenge, and then is brutally murdered by Superba. Honestly, this is a really sad time period because it takes place all within one episode. Well, two if you count the previous one with Takahisa, but that's neither here nor there. It takes place for one episode and then moves on with the plot. So it's really sad but really brief. The reason it's lower on the list is, well, I just find the other moments sadder. But it is still my number 14. Number 13, Ninth's death from Future Diary. Now, Ninth is admittedly sometimes kind of a hard character to like or sympathize with, but once you really get into her backstory, learn about it, you can sympathize with her. And as the story goes on, her entire life is turned upside down and made worse and worse and worse. To start off with, she loses her eye pretty early in the game. Well, a real one. She is conflicted with helping the heroes and helping herself. She has her own love interest, who basically sacrifices himself for her, and she loses her arm and she dies. Yeah, she does not have it good in this story. She's a terrorist, mind you, but I think she was one of the more sympathetic characters, and my personal favorite, if we're being honest. Also, why is her death so sad? Well, she sees her past self, and well, through like a mental image kind of thing, and sees her parents, and says as she's dying, all she wanted was to be saved as that little girl who lost her parents so long ago. That's all she ever wanted. And Nametama, the person who was her love interest, was the closest to doing that. That's all she ever wanted, and she dies with that knowledge. Now, it is lowered on the list for a certain spoiler that I won't get into. Watch Future Diary and find out. But this is my number 13. Moving on. Number 12. Kamina's death from Gurren Lagann. Now, like the last list, had it been any other, it would have been Nia's death. But honest to God, I felt more anger than I did with sadness. Kamina was a sad moment. Seriously, he didn't expect to die in the battle, but has pretty much like a sucker punch side attack more than once and basically got murdered. Then, in admittedly his most awesome moment ever, he comes back to life just long enough to make sure his friends get the victory and then dies. Seriously, Kamina is awesome. I may not like him, I think, as much as other people do, but damn is he awesome. Who returns to life to avenge their own death. That's kind of awesome. On another note, though, it is very sad because of how the crew takes it, and how his love interest, Yoko, never completely recovers from it. She is absolutely devastated by it, and I don't think she ever fully recovers from it. She recovers for the most part and does regain everything she once had, but she never falls in love again. Except for that one time, but we're not going to mention that one, no. Anyways, that's Kamina's death is my number 12. Number 11. Mikasa's backstory from Attack on Titan. Now, I will say this right off the bat. This scene for me was the saddest because it shows why Mikasa is the way she is. She started out as this bright and cheerful young girl, and then her parents were killed by slave traders, and they were going to offer her up for sex slavery, if the indications are correct. If not for Eren, she'd probably either be a sex slave or dead, or maybe worse. She got off very lucky, but she's still emotionally broken because of that event, and relies on Eren for support because of that event, and wears that red scarf because of that event. Her backstory is easily the saddest, because not only does she lose her family twice, but it's always under the threat of being lost a third time. She's still living through hell. And that's why she is my number 11. Number 10. Yu's Tears from Persona 4 the animation. Now, I should get into a bit of backstory with this one. During the events of Persona 4 the animation, Yu's cousin slash little sister, Nanako, became very sick after coming into contact with the Midnight Channel and was under the threat of dying. Unfortunately, in the story, she does die thanks to a person named Namitama's unintentional interference. The entire team is devastated. What Yu does shortly afterward, because of her death, he threatens to put Namitama in the TV to pretty much leave him to die in an act of revenge, but does not go through with it because he knows that Nanako wouldn't want that. Ultimately, soon afterwards, everyone cools off, they think about it more, and they go their separate ways. But just before he left, he had a flashback of a scene he had with Nanako and starts to tear up. Then Yosuke reappears, and he asks Yosuke if he did the right thing by letting Namitama live. There is no answer, and you just hear his tears. This is by far the biggest show of how much he's developed as a character, who went from pretty much a blank slate at the very beginning of the story to a full-on person with emotions by this point. This for me was one of the pinnacles of Yu's character development, and it was easily the saddest moment of Persona 4. And that is why it is my number 10. Number 9. Homura's backstory from Madoka Magica. Okay, this one is a harsh one, so let's start at the beginning. Homura is a ill girl, and a very weak girl who goes to school, the same school as Madoka and her friends. And she's very shy and timid because of some past events that I'm probably not sure or not really giving an opinion of. She's then attacked by a witch and saved by Madoka and Mami. After that, she follows the girls around their adventures until Walpurgis Not comes in and kills Madoka and Mami and leaves a devastated Homura there to make the wish with Kyubey so that she can see Madoka again. And she is able to through the use of time travel and going back. And they fight together this time. In the second timeline, unfortunately, the result is even worse than before, where Madoka becomes a witch. Then she tries and warns the magical girls about their fate. And the third timeline, but not only does that fail, but when they realize it, Mami goes berserk and kills Kyoko and nearly Homura too, until Madoka is forced to kill Mami herself. And soon after, they fight Walpurgis Not again. Both of them survive, but are being threatened to turn into witches. Unfortunately, and then Madoka cures Homura's, so Homura can keep living. And she asks Homura to not only save her from her foolishness, but to give her a mercy kill. this final act breaks Homura. The already emotionally unstable Homura finally breaks and becomes the Homura we know. And after that, she kept repeating the timelines for what's rumored to be over 100. Yeah. It's very harsh because we get to see how far it took a toll on her psyche. It pretty much destroyed her from the timid little girl to the very harsh badass that we know. Very similar to Mikasa's backstory, but I think it was done better here, and that is why it is my number 9. Number 8. SAO's Episode 3's ending. Talk about harsh. This episode not only featured the death of characters that we were just gonna get to know, but it also basically showed everything that could go wrong in SAO. Not only did we see the deaths of several characters and even one's suicide, we got to see Kirito truly suffer for not thinking straight and not doing the right thing. Sadly, this leaves him devastated and emotionally broken. When he tried to find a way to revive Sachi, but in the end, not only did it not work, but it left him broken and saddened. So, in short, it's very harsh. And the worst thing is, this happens on Christmas Eve. That's like an emotional punch to the face. Honestly, do I need to explain why it's on here and why it's number 8? I don't think so. Moving on.